Hello, Kimberbell people. I guess I was like, what do I call you? Hello, my Kimberbell friends. Let's go with that. I am about to stitch out September's block, the hedgehog, which is so cute. This is September's cutie patootie block. You're going to do 2 of these. I'm going to do the Minki Kim version, and I'm going to show you how I set up my scan and cut, which was something I had to plan out in my head. These are the thread colors you're going to be using. This is how it came out. Isn't it cute? Isn't it adorable? So the technique you're going to be using is chenille. I'm like, oh, should I have chenilled this even more over here? This doesn't look very chenilled. I'm using my chenille brush. You're going to want one of these. In their instructions, they say to use, what do they say to use? Fabric with water to aid in the process, and fluff with a nail file, which I never really understood, but a stiff brush is what I use. This is actually a chenille brush, and I love it. The other thing you might want to use is a chenille cutter, which is one of these. I think these are totally worth it. You can cut chenille in different sizes. There's a large, medium, and small, and a large, a double large. So I love this block. It came out so cute. So in my head, I had to think about how was I going to do this. And what I ended up doing was because you have the head, okay, which is pretty much normal applique. And then you are going to have one layer that's underneath. You can kind of see it. See that layer under there where it has the Kimberbell decorative stitch around it? And then you're going to have 3 layers. This is 3 layers that are chenilled. So I thought to myself, well, these layers you don't want heat and bond light. So what I'm going to do is I am going to take, and I've already done one, but I'm going to show you how I prepared the fabric for both of them. You're going to grab, did I lose it already? Here's the face. So I'm going to heat and bond the face, and I'm going to have one hedgehog going left and one hedgehog going right. So I'm going to put heat and bond on these 2 pieces, okay? After I do that, let me go back here. I'm going to bring this down because it's way up in my face. Heat and bond on the faces. The first layer that's going to go underneath, I'm going to put heat and bond, and I'm going to have one going one direction and mirror image the other direction, heat and bond on these. And then the 3 layers on top, I am going to, because this is a pain in the butt to cut all of those like little spiky pieces. So we are going to cut that on the scan and cut, but I'm just going to prepare this with Terreal Magic. So you don't want to put heat and bond on that because then it's not going to chenille right. So let's go ahead and prep all of the fabric. And I did end up using my low tack mat as well as my fabric mat. And I used my rotary blade. I didn't use my fabric blade because, you know, this is what keeps happening. At the store, we order all the fabric blades and the fabric blade holder. I still don't have a fabric blade and a fabric blade holder. And then we sell out of everything. And then I order again and we have so much that I go, oh, I'll just grab it later. And the next thing you know, it's all gone. So this time when it comes in again, I am going to grab my fabric blade and my fabric blade holder. I'm going to order a ton of it. So, what you want this to be, you need to stabilize this fabric. And so what I'm going to use to stabilize it is going to be what's in, is it in this bottle? I think it's in this bottle. This bottle, this is a mixture of half Best Press and half Terreal Magic. So Best Press is like a spray starch and Terreal Magic is like a super beefed up starch. And you can't spray just Terreal Magic and iron. It'll stick to your iron. So what you have to do is mix it half and half. So I'm going to do 6 of these, 3 for each. These are going to be Terreal Magic Best Press. We call that secret sauce in our store. And then I'm going to do this one and these 2 faces heat and bond light. Okay? All right. Let's go ahead and beef these up first. Is this working? Is this not working? Hello? Maybe. Oh, yeah. No, it's working. Here we go. It just needed a little priming. Somebody was asking me about spray bottles. They go bad. This Poppy did this. and I put tape on it. It was like brand new, and I put tape on it because it hurt my fingers. But this was a gift from Poppy. She was making it special for me. And you might get a little bit of flaking, but that's okay. Don't worry about that. Who cares? Beef it up. Make it stiff. You want this to be nice and stiff so when you cut, it doesn't drag around just the fabric and just, you want it to be. I'm going to actually turn it over and I'm going to do it again. That's how beefy I want it to be. Let's see what it looks like after one spray, right? Here's my piece without anything. It's like nothing, right? Here's my piece with Terriel Magic. You can see, right? Yeah, you can see the difference. Okay, I'm going to turn it over and I'm going to do it one more time. One more time. One more time. Oh, Patrick's calling me. But I denied the call because it'll stop my video. This bottle. Okay. That's as much as I'm, because it's kind of low. Beef it up. Special sauce. And you know, the other thing I used is I did use my rotary blade. And I used my rotary blade because, like I said, I don't have a fabric blade. And there were a lot of little, oh my God, that is like so beefy now. So I'll hold it. And here's my other piece. Got it? See the difference? It is worth it. Beef it up. Okay, so these, I'm going to do 3 in one direction and 3 mirror image going the other way. All right. And then now let's stabilize these. I have one extra piece. This is just going to be Heat and Bond Light. So I'm going to do Heat and Bond Light. Okay, first I'm going to look and see if I have any pieces that I can, here's some of my leftover Heat and Bond. I keep it all. And so these will go right on here, right? I can just put these on here. Oh, yes, I can. Okay, what I've learned with Heat and Bond Light is it's got to be, if you're going to put Heat and Bond Light side down on your mat, you better adhere it, and it better be adhered perfectly, or else that Heat and Bond Light's going to stick to your mat, and it ruins the mat. It does. I know this because I ruined a brand new, I guess 24-inch mat. And it made me super sad. It made me want to not ever do skin a cut again. And then I was like, well, now you know. Now you know, and you won't do that again. So I'm super, 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 super careful now. And how do you know you have it adhered on right? When you peel away the paper, it looks like completely glossy. And you don't see the little dots of Heat and Bond. See how it's kind of like... Wait, we're there. See how you can see the texture? It'll just be glossy and you don't see all that texture. Okay, the other thing I've learned is don't pull the white paper off until you're ready to use it because it's a little bit tacky and so stuff starts to stick on it and make it messy and icky. So let me put this back and then I'm going to go to my roll. I have a roll of Heat and Bond Light. I've got a roll, and you can also buy it in 5 yards. I think this was 25 yards, something like that. How am I going to use this? Let's go this way. I'm just going to go this way and go across. And then we'll save that for later, okay? So I'm just going to go ahead. You can overlap it a little bit if you want. And adhesive side up. And I could use my rotary cutter, but I'm just going to scissor cut this. And you could just rip it apart. But let me put this away. You can't be caught on a Sunday without your product. And press it from both sides. That gets hot. Hot, 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 but that's good. So this is the layer that's going to go on the bottom, okay? So you have one side that you're going to heat and bond down. You're going to adhere it. And then the other ones, no heat and bond. Just secret sauce so that they're nice and beefy. Okay. And sometimes I just fold it over and I rip it. Whatever I'm in the mood for. I'm like, today I'm a ripper. Tomorrow I'm a cutter. See, you can just do that. But here, I'm going to let you take a little peek. Ooh, this is hot. See how, I don't know if you can see that, but it's totally glossy and like one piece. What you don't want are like little dots of the heat and bond because that will stick to and ruin your mat. Your brand new, very expensive 24-inch mat. I rather like over press than under press. Okay. I haven't had any problems since that one time because now I'm like super scared of it. So I press more than I need to. All right, let's talk about the cut file. I use the SVG and oh my God, well, you know, you learn from your mistakes. I cut everything and the pieces were huge. They weren't even close to fitting. They were so big. So what I did was I threw those pieces away and then I asked Michelle, and Michelle says you have to make sure you print out that 1-inch square and that the 1-inch square fits on your mat and that's the right proportion. And I was like, oh, this sounds like so much work. So what I did the second time was I just sent over the cut file from my machine. I just turned it into applique material and that worked perfectly. And well, let's talk about it. Let's do it right now. All right, so here we are at the machine. And I am going to go into, oh, sorry, I just turned it on. Heavy breather. Is that you, Poppy? Okay, we're going to go into embroidery. I sent my stuff over already with design database transfer. And what you're sending over, and it is on the spreadsheet. So I think I put the newest spreadsheet in here, I think I did. I know I did. Where is it? Oh, here it is. So for September, you are going to do Floral 11 4x4. So I already sent that over, and it's going to be here in this pocket. Look, I already saved it. But we are going to do Floral 11. It looks like this. And make sure you choose 4x4 horizontal. So I'm going to go ahead and select that and hit set. I already chose my hoop size, but if you haven't yet, you're going to go to your settings button, which is going to look either like the Gear or the notebook paper. And you're going to go to your frame size and select 5x7. That's what I'm using. I'm doing them separately in the 5x7. So I'm already selected. And I'm using my magnetic hoop, so it only lets me go 800 stitches per minute. Make sure you're at default for tension, foot height, ending needle up, and auto foot down is on. Okay, now we're going to add, and I'm going to add my little hedgehog, which is right here. He's so cute. Set it, and it's just going to be centered. Centered. So you're not going to move it up and down. Okay, we will move this up to conserve our muslin or stabilizer, but for right now, I'm just going to go to my applique. And right here, see, this is all the stuff that goes with my quilting. I'm going to minimize that. I'm going to maximize what goes with my hedgehog. Let's look right here first. What is that? That's his little face. We want it. So we're going to go ahead and make sure you have, as far as the thread options, see how it lets you, it has a different thread chart for all the different brands. Make sure you are set to original or embroidery. So I'm going to set mine to embroidery. And if you go down here. There's going to be a little button with a pair of scissors. That is going to change your placement stitch to applique material, and that's what you want. So you're just going to go ahead and you're going to say, okay. Oh, sorry, we got to do the other ones. We're going to do this one next. So go ahead and do that, and then we'll save it all at once. That is for the hedgehog body, and we are going to turn that into applique material. And now we're going to say, that's it, right? Just those two. We're going to say, okay. We're going to put it in memory. Uh-oh. Your machine has to be on for you to transfer it. Let me go ahead. I'm going to turn on my scan and cut. Power. What's going on? Oh, it's turning on. I'm just turning my scan and cut on. If it's not on, it's not going to transfer. Okay, so it's on. So you see right here, I have this button. So I'm just going to hit that and it's going to transfer wirelessly. Everything needs to be connected. You need to have everything on the network, and you need to have my connection set up and Artspira. If you don't have the connection, you're just going to save it to a USB. No big deal. Pop your USB in and hit that button. Whoops. Do I have a USB in there? I do. So it's saving it to a USB. But what I really want is I want to save it, and I'm going to send it directly to my scan and cut. So let's go ahead and do that. And do you wish to replace the existing? It will save just what you have in one design. But what that means is I could have add 20 different elements. It'll save everything from that. So I'm just going to hit transfer, and it's going to save the two things that I asked it to save. And now let's go over to our scan and cut. So first thing I did was I cleaned my mats with Totally Awesome. You get this at the dollar store. Just spray it on your mat, wipe it off with a clean paper towel, okay? Why don't we go ahead, and I'm going to start with my low tack mat. And this I already cleaned off too. So when you're not using it, make sure you store it with the plastic on there. And here's my mat. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put these pieces on first. The face and then the body. So I'm going to pull off the paper. So I have my glossy side. I'm going to put this glossy side down. Make sure it is adhered perfectly. I'll just put it right here. And I'm going to do this one. And let's do the face. You can put it anywhere on your mat. You know why? You have a scanner. Scanners are the best. Okay. There we go. I'm going to throw this away. Next thing we're going to do is I am going to take the brayer. Here's my little brayer. And I'm going to brayer it down so it's on there evenly. Okay, let's bring up our design. So, I might have to turn this a little bit. Here we go. All right. If you're bringing it design database transfer, you're not going to do this. If you're bringing it up USB, you're going to go retrieve data. If you're bringing it up the way I sent it over through my connection, you're going to hit this arrow and touch my connection. My connection. Update available. Oh, poor Momo. What's going on? And I'm going to retrieve. And then I'm going to go wireless LAN device. And there it is. Okay, I know it's the whole design, but you're going to touch this button here, which is for the applique material. Touch that, and there are my two pieces. What I did is, if you just cut it the way it is, it pretty much stitches right on, or it fills the placement stitch pretty perfectly. But for this, I did do it one click bigger because it had all of these like little spiky things. So I'm going to bring this in first, and I'm going to say okay. And I'm just going to bring one in. And I'm going to go ahead and set it. And then I'm going to add to that. And I'm going to bring in, whoops. Sorry, Patrick just got home and that was their warm greeting. Now I'm going to bring this guy in. And I'm going to go ahead and say okay. And I'm going to go ahead and set it. I could bring in multiples, like I could bring 2 at a time, but I'm going to size it. And so I'm just going to bring 1 at a time and then I'll make a copy of it. So, so go ahead and set. All right, now we have each one. There's the little face. And like I said, I am going to make him just one little click bigger. Let me get my stylus. But we'll do this one first. So let's go ahead and touch him. We're going to go edit, object edit. This, see the lines pulling out? That makes him bigger. I'm going to go ahead and touch that. And this is going to, if I hit the plus, it's going to increase it proportionally, meaning it's going to do the height and the width at the same time. So I'm going to go ahead and hit plus. Did you see them both increase? And I'm going to say okay. And then I'm going to make a copy. This will make another one. I want 2 of them. And then I'm going to take one and I'm going to mirror image it. Okay, so that's done. Next, I'm going to do the little facey face. There we go. Let's bring him down here. Same thing. I'm going to make him 1 click bigger. It's just very, very small amount. I'm going to say okay. And then I'm going to make a copy of it. So there's 2 of them. And then I'm going to mirror image one. And there you go. Okay, so one going one direction, one going the other direction. Let's go ahead and scan in our mat, and then we're going to place. I am using, hang on. Sorry, do you see how messy my room is? Sorry, this room is my everything room, so it gets really messy. I like to take my naps in here. I watch TV. I do the laundry. Okay, we're going to put our mat in first. So to do that, to load your mat, oops, look at wrong end. You want the end that has the arrow. And this is my low tack mat, the turquoise one. You're going to hit this button right here. That's your load mat button. Then we're going to scan because we want to place our pieces. Okay, so I'm going to go back to my screen. I'm going to say okay because we did all the object edit. I'm going to say okay again. And then this is scanning your mat, that button right there. So let's go ahead and scan our mat. I'm going to hit start. And I am using my regular standard auto blade. This is my standard auto blade right here with the black top. So just scan my mat and it put it here on the screen. Okay. So there's my mat. There's my screen. We're going to move those pieces so they're right where they need to be for me to cut. So I'm looking for my stylus. There we go. I'm going to drag it on so it's centered. What if you can't see it? For the light colors, you're going to just, you know what? I was going to say, are we going to do any dark colors? But if you can't see it, what you're going to do is you're going to go to the wrench and then you can change the background. So for the light colors, you're going to go here. For the dark colors, you're going to go here. We're going to leave it because we can see what we are cutting. We're able to place it and we're good. So everything's placed. I'm going to go ahead and say, okay. I'm going to go please select and I'm going to go cut. And I think you can check here 1 minute auto, speed 5, half cut is off. And I'm just going to go ahead and hit start. And there we go. Might be time for a new blade. Okay. And those are like the little points, which are pretty pointy. So let me see. We're going to peel this back. That looks pretty good. Those look pretty good. We do have one that got a little mangled there, but I think it's going to be okay. Okay. So we are ready. And I also have this little, where's my pointy thing? I really like the, I don't know what you call these. I like the tools that have the sharp points on them. Whatever these are. This is what I like to use to pull it up. So go in this direction, and I'm just going to pull it down and around. And that looks pretty good. Okay. We got one in each direction. And that got a little mangled, but I think he's going to be okay. And then the faces. All right. And put those aside. Now we're going to do the next one. So this I'm just going to go ahead and throw away. Hopefully that blade's okay. I wonder if I have a better one. Michelle said sometimes you want to take it out and just pull away, just clean that blade. I think I have another one. Maybe we should try that one and see if that one cuts better. Hang on. Here's my other one. And Michelle always says, make sure you have an extra blade at the house, which I don't. I know. I'm going to put this one in and see how this one does. Okay. All right. Let's go ahead and we're going to load the next thing. So this, I was just doing those with the heat and bond light. We're going to eject. So I'm going to hit this. Mat is out. I'm going to put the protective sheet on. And let's get this out of the way. Here is my fabric mat. This is the gold one. Let's go ahead and lay this down. Did you hear how sticky that was? So what you don't want to do is you don't want to lay your heat and bond light on the fabric mat because it's so sticky it might stick. So we're going to grab these pieces. And you know what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut off all of these like frayed threads. These stray frayed threads. Because I don't want them sticking to the mat. Where's my scissors? I just gave it a little haircut. Okay, I'm going to lay these down on my mat. And remember, all these have on them are Terreal Magic and Best Press mixed. And I sprayed both sides. Like these threads, I'm just going to cut them off. And I'm going to brayer them down again. Okay, I used my rotary cutter for this. So actually, I'm going to be taking out that, or the rotary blade. I'm going to take this out. I forgot that that's what I used. And this was me kind of not really, you guys know I don't know what I'm doing, right? So part of this is just me trying things. Okay, that's my rotary. I mark them because I don't know what's what. All right, let's go ahead and load our design. So what we're going to do is I am going to, I'll hit finish. And always hit your home button to kind of clear your screen and start over again. So I'm going to say okay. And I'm going to go back here and retrieve that data. My connection, retrieve. At least that's what I do because that's the easiest thing. It saves what you brought in last. So I'm going to go ahead and hit this shield. And all I want is this. I don't need the face again. I need 3 of these for each one. That's why there's 6 pieces. And I'm going to go ahead and say okay. And I just thought about it. I was like, okay, normally it does a basting stitch. You stitch around the basting stitch and then you trim. But I am not doing that basting stitch because it's going to be so close to the edge. So what I did was I went ahead and I set this. I'm just going to go ahead and just do 1 for now. And I took that one. So we're going to do 3 that direction, but I'm going to go edit, object edit, size. I clicked this twice to make it a little bit bigger, to make sure it was going to cover over the base piece. So I went 1, 2, and it worked out perfectly. Like that was me kind of experimenting and trying it out, and that worked out perfectly. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to say okay. And now that I know I have that the size I want, I'm going to make this, I'm going to do 6 of them. So I'm going to go here where I can duplicate, and I'm going to go 6. And I'm going to say okay. All right, 3 of them, I'm going to leave. 3 of them, I'm going to mirror image. So I'll touch that, mirror image, mirror image, mirror image. And that was all I did. And honestly, do you really want to cut all of these out? I was like, no. Scan and cut. All right, so now we're going to come back here. Let's load up our mat. Arrow in. And I'm going to go ahead and touch this button to load it. Did you even see that? And let me go here. Let me go. I need, this is object edit. We already did our editing, so I'm just going to say okay. I'm going to say okay here. And that's the button I want because I want it to scan my mat so I can place my pieces or my cut files. So I'm going to go ahead and hit start. It's going to go ahead and scan. I would have been confused if I wasn't motivated to do this. So hopefully you're motivated to do this because I didn't want to cut all of those. Okay, let's look at our screen. So there are all my little hedgehoggy guys. I'm going to go ahead and drag each one here into the center. And because that mat is so sticky, it'll just stay down. Okay, we're good. It's in the center of each one. I'm going to go ahead and say okay. I'm going to go please select, cut. And I'm just going to hit start. I never test. I guess I should probably start testing, right? But I haven't tested before, and I'll have to talk to Michelle about when I need to test. For right now, I just go for it. And 25 minutes? That sounds like a long time. Okay, the rotary cutter does take longer. I don't know why it's going to take that long, but I'm just going to let it go. So I'm going to just pause the video right now, and then I will be back when it is all cut. And maybe for this, the fabric blade was the way to go, but I know that this is going to come out great. This is what I did with the other ones. I don't remember it taking 25 minutes though, but okay, I'll be right back. All right, and there we go. So I went upstairs and made dinner, and while I was making dinner, the rotary cutter was cutting, and the pieces are done. So I love this tool, this little picker tool. So I'm going to just like lift it up. And I mean, it looks pretty spectacular. And you're going to want to clean your mat and get off all the little pieces. And don't pull it from here. Pull it from this side and pull towards all these, the little pointy parts, and you're going to see it's leaving a little bit of those pieces on there, so just be gentle with it. Did you see how not gentle that was? And, you know, I'm losing a little bit, but it's going to be fine. Ooh, did you see how much that left there? So I think it makes a difference. It makes a difference that, I made it a little bit bigger. All right. And there you go. There are your pieces for putting down. So these were 2 clicks bigger. Now you're going to see, this is what I have over here. These are the pieces with the heat and bond light on the back. So they're kind of shiny because that's the adhesive on the back. And then these are the pieces that are going to go on top. And we're not going to do the basting stitch. We're just going to do the chenille stitches that hold it down. Okay, and I wasn't sure if this was going to work, but it totally worked and it looks great. So that's why I'm showing it to you this way. Let's go back over to the machine. Okay, so I'm going to be using my 5x7 and I'm using muslin. And I always use muslin because it's softer than no-show mesh. And so I just like the way it feels and the way it feels in my projects. And I'm going to go ahead and put my magnet on first. Big one on the top. Cinch it down. Big one on the bottom. And small ones on the side. And you can cut your muslin anywhere from, like, I do 8.5 inches, 9 inches, something along those lines. There we go. And I'm going to slide this onto the machine. These are the colors we're using: Shadow, Butterscotch, Bark, and Linen. Or I've been using Pearl lately. Just really been enjoying the Pearl. Okay, and this is our sample. This is what we're going to be doing. And again, this is the Minki Kim fabric, although I did use the same fabrics for the applique. All right, over to the machine. Did I already load the design before? I can't remember. So I did design database transfer from my computer. I'm no longer using USBs. And I'm going to go ahead and you see it saved here, but I'm going to show you how I load it. So we're going to touch right here. And this is my design right here, my 4x4. I'm going to go ahead and set it. I think I might have done this already. Sorry. And then make sure you choose your frame size, which is the 5x7, which I already have selected. And then I'm going to say, okay. I'm going to leave it right there. I'm going to add, and we are going to go ahead and add from design database transfer. That's where it'll go. Your little hedgehog. Now, I already did one facing this direction, so I'm going to go ahead and mirror image it to face the other direction. So to do that, I'm going to touch edit, and this here is my mirror image button. So I'm just going to go ahead and mirror image it, and then I'm going to touch my embroidery button. Those are now combined. So when I'm on my layout page, I can move those and touch my move arrow, and it will move both of those, the background quilting and the hedgehog, together. If you're in your edit screen, it's going to move them separately. So there's my move key right here. And I'm going to go ahead and slide on my hoop. Once you slide on the hoop and the machine knows your hoop's on, then it won't let you move the design outside of your embroidery field. I'm going to go ahead and slide it on. Oh, sorry, you're not seeing any of that. You're probably just seeing my lap. I just have a white pre-wound bobbin in there. And now I'm going to move my move keys. I'll just back it up so you can see this. Oh, and you know what? I don't really have to do that, but I could do one last design here, maybe in my 4x4 or something like that. I could have just stitched it right in the middle. But I'm going to go ahead and touch OK. And then I like to touch this button down here, which is where you can go forward and backward stitches. And you're going to see the first stitch out is turquoise. That is a placement stitch. That is for your batting. So go ahead and stitch that out. Use a color. Whoa! Okay, hang on a second. Sorry, my filming arm came crashing down. I had to just readjust it. Okay, so we're going to choose a color we can see. I'm just going to go ahead and put in the bark. It's a constant struggle finding the right filming arm. I can't tell you how much Michelle and I kind of struggle with all the whole filming process. Okay, and first thing I'm going to do is the placement stitch. This is the placement stitch for the background quilting. I'm using my, where's my fabric? There it is. I'm using my spray tent and my KK100. I'm going to heat up my, I'm going to heat up my, Clover little iron as well, because I'm going to need that. So here we go. Here is, well, this is my spray tent, and this is my dirty piece of cardboard that I leave in there and spray on. And here's my batting, and you're going to spray the wrong side because that's going to go down, and that's the nubbier side. So I'm going to spray that. I'm going to spray the background fabric, and don't go crazy. You hear that? That's not that much. Okay, this is the spray I use, KK100. Since I've been scan and cutting, I haven't been using as much spray, but I still, like, I'm a spray girl. Spray girl, like a fly girl, but me, I'm a spray girl. Kimberbell recommends tape. I prefer the spray. Okay, I'm going to put this down, and you can check and see if you have a right side. Remember, this is my Minki Kim fabric. This is not the Kimberbell fabric. So I'm going to lay this down next. And you just want about an equal amount around the batting, and then you can just go ahead and press it down. All right, and once you've done that, I'm going to skip the next step. So the next step is going to be the tack down for the batting, but mine is already cut to size, so I'm going to skip that. And this is going to be the placement stitch for the background. Mine's already placed, so I'm going to skip that. And that's the tack down. I'm going to do that stitch. I should do something I can see, and the bark kind of blends. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put in this. I've been using pearl instead of linen, just because I think it looks so good. Just a little more oomph, especially when it's tone on tone. Pearl, plus I like Pearl. If I had another child, I might name her Pearl. I think it's super cute. When I'm really close like this, I use this hand. I don't know whose idea it was to put the threader there, but they did. Okay, here's my tack down. So now you just make it work. I'm on the Avenir. This is just a 9-minute stitch out. Remember, you're doing 2 of these. This is my second one. I wanted to do one and see if what was in my head worked in, was theory in my head worked in real life. Now, if you look at your screen, you're going to see green, and it's going to be the quilting stitch. So I'm just going to go ahead and hit start, do the quilting stitch. This is 2 minutes of stitching, and then we're going to get ready to do some applique. First piece that's going to go down is going to be the nose and the body, and these pieces are going to be the ones that I put the heat and bond light on. So they're the ones that go this direction. Okay, that's what I'm going to put down first. And remember, I mirrored image mine. So if you're just watching and you're like, wait a minute, why is it going that direction? Because I mirrored imaged it. Do you have to mirror image? No, why am I mirror imaging? Because I think it's more interesting to have one go one direction and one go the other direction. And I wish I'd mirror imaged all of the blocks that we had to do two of, but I kept forgetting. And now that we're finally in September, I'm remembering. This is a really sweet pattern. I like this quilting pattern. Okay, let's look at our instructions and see what it says. Because this is important. After the quilting, sometimes you have special instructions. And this says, after quilting, go to the embroidery instructions. So we're just going to go right up here. And it says, stitch the face placement line. Color doesn't make a difference. And then we're going to do the tack down. So I'm just going to go ahead and hit start. I'm going to leave that purl in, but I'm going to pay attention to where that stitch is going, because it's going to be kind of hard to see. There's his little face. Lazy me is just going to slide this off a little bit. And then I'm going to take my little mat. This is my hoop and press mat from Dime. And it's not these are for the snap hoops, so they're thinner. And I'm just going to kind of tuck it under here, just where the face is. I'm going to grab my face of my hedgehog. And remember, I made this one click bigger. One click. Is this hot enough? Where's my, you know what I need? I need my, this is what I need. I like to use this too. I'm going to be using this on the other thing. And just put it down. Should be good. And then I'm going to remove the mat. Don't forget to remove the mat. Every once in a while I forget it and I stitch it down. I'm going to put that back on. And then the next step, we're going to skip, because I don't need this. And this is only if you're doing scan and cut. Because in place of this, because I already did, I cut it to size, I put it down, and I tacked it down. I don't need to trim it. I'm going to skip this step, and I'm going to go to step number 3, which is to stitch the face outline. So on your screen here, this step right here is for the tack down. The orange is for the tack down. I'm going to skip it. You're going to do this if you're not doing scan and cut, but I'm going to skip it, and now I'm going to do that step. So as far as color goes, it wants us to put in the butterscotch. So I'm going to go ahead and put butterscotch in. I'm taking out the pearl. Taking out the pearl, putting in the butterscotch. When I think butterscotch, I think Werther's. And then I think about going to friends' houses and they have like a candy dish. Remember how everyone used to have a candy dish? Okay, and go ahead and do the tack down. Or I'm sorry, not the tack down, but this is the decorative stitch. So right now we're doing this step right here. Step number 3, stitch the face satin outline. Then we're going to do the nose and eyes fill. We're going to do that in shadow. So it's going to do right here, the nose and then the eyes. So next thing you're going to get is your shadow thread. You could do black if you want. Okay, I'm going to show you how I take out my thread, because in the store we used to teach people to cut it here and then grab it at the needle and pull it out. But what I do, make sure your foot is up. This means your foot is down. Do not pull your thread out because your tension disc is closed here. Put your foot up, make sure your foot is up, and you're just going to go ahead and reverse thread. I'm just going to come over here. I'm not pulling. I'm just coming to here. Once you get to here, it just falls right out. There's absolutely no tension. So that's, I reverse thread. That's what I do because I think it's so much easier. Now I'm going to go ahead and thread. And I don't even use a spool cap. When I'm using mini cones, I don't use a spool cap. If I do use a spool cap, I use the little special one that slips inside. But I do, see, it just feeds off nicely without the spool cap. If I'm using a spool, I use a spool cap. If I'm using a mini cone, I don't use the spool cap. So go ahead and hit start. And you can still use a spool cap, but if you're going to use a spool cap, you want the little one. I never know where my stuff is. So you can use this one that fits inside. That's your spool cap and it holds it back. Or you can use your smallest one. But even then, I say use this one for sure. Don't use the bigger ones because your thread will get stuck in between there. Believe me. Okay, now it wants to do the placement stitch for your for the body. I'm just gonna, let's see, does it recommend a color? Yeah, it wants you to use bark. So let's put our bark in. We're gonna do the placement stitch for the main body that's gonna get tacked down. Or actually, we're not going to tack it down, but I'm going to use it already has heat and bond, so I'm going to fuse it down. Now, I did this one click bigger. A lot of times I don't. I just leave it. Listen to me sound like I'm an expert like I do so much. It's like my third or fourth project with the Scan and Cut, so I'm still learning. But I'm going to do the placement stitch for the body. Here's my body, and it has heat and bond light on it. And I did it one click bigger. Okay, again, I'm going to go ahead and slide this back a little bit. I'm going to get my little mat, or you can slide this off totally. Whatever works for you. Here, we'll completely slide it off if you want. Here we go. Here we go. There's my mat. Slide the whole thing off. I'm going to rest it right here. Okay, I'm going to put this down. And I'm going to grab my clover. Just make sure there's something underneath here, okay? And lay it down first and make sure it fits inside those lines. Look at the top, look at the bottom. I'll just start right here. Oh my God, it's so awesome. You know what I love is these are the appliques where it's kind of a pain in the butt to trim, right? And those are the times where you're like, I love Scan and Cut. And this needs to be pretty perfect. This is going to have that Kimberbell stitch, which is the one that it's the one that goes right around it. Okay. Be careful. You don't want to melt your thread and stuff. All right. That is the end of fusing with this one. The rest is going to get sewn down. So I'm going to just go ahead and turn this off right now because this thing is hot. There's an on-off here. So just make sure you click that off. Otherwise, it's going to just stay on. Okay. I'm going to slide this back on. Fluff your fabric in case you have extra fabric, because if you look at mine, I have some fabric hanging off the bottom. So just fluff that, make sure it doesn't get turned under. Hold this when you slide it on. Hold that so it doesn't get pushed. Okay, next step. We're going to skip some steps, remember? So the next step here, it wants to do the tack down and trim. Mine already fused. So I'm going to go ahead and skip that. That step I'm going to do, that's going to be the decorative stitching. It wants you to do that in bark. I already have my bark in. So go ahead and do the decorative stitching. And it's going to be so clean and perfect. Let me show you what it looks like on my sample, the one I did before. So I know you can't see it, but it's right here underneath. Do you see that? That's how good it looks. There. So you're going to see it a little bit underneath. Okay? Look how nice and perfect that is. So I did that, like I said, from the, I took the applique stitch where it made it into applique material, and I just did one click bigger. And a lot of times, I knew it was going to be doing this stitch, so I did that. A lot of times I just leave it, and I don't change it at all. For the pieces that are going on top, guess what? I did those 2 clicks bigger, and the reason I did that is because, let's talk about it. The next step, what you're supposed to do is you're supposed to put down all 3 pieces. So where is it? Stitch, chenille basting, okay, stitch. 3. Place the remaining 3 body fabrics pieces right side up and tape into place. I'm not going to do that. And then it wants you to stitch the chenille basting. So it wants you to put your 3 pieces down. It wants you to tape them down. And then it's going to stitch them down, a basting stitch that you're going to remove. And then you have to trim around it. Okay? So I'm not doing this basting stitch here. I'm just going to put my 3 pieces down. And I'm going to skip. I'm going to do this. I'm going to skip this. I'm going to skip this. And I'm going to do these where it holds it down. And then I will use my cutter to cut in between those lines. And it came out perfectly. But it just made sense to me to make them a little bit bigger. So I'm going to grab my 3 pieces. Make sure you're grabbing the 3 that go the right direction. So these are my other ones. I don't need these anymore. I can give those away if somebody wants them. And then these are the 3 that are going the other direction. Okay. So I'm just going to stack them one on top of the other the best I can. And they don't have to be perfect. Okay, that looks pretty good. And these are 2 clicks bigger than what I brought in. So next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to lay them down. And when I did this, I went slow. And I used that tool to hold them down. I'm going to place this right over. It should be kind of big enough to cover over the decorative stitch too. Hang on, I want to see this. And it's going to get all roughed up, so you don't have to worry about it being perfect. Remember, we're going to rough it up. And that looks good to me. Okay? I slide this on. I am going to slow it down a little bit. So I'm going to come over here to my settings. And just go to my settings. Oh, let me see. Okay to that. Settings. Why don't I slow it down? I'm going to go all the way down to the slowest, 350. And I'm going to get my stiletto out, or my little holder tool down. And I'm just going to go ahead and let it stitch this down. But I am skipping this step. Okay. This one here is going to be the basting stitch. I don't want that. I do want that. That's going to be my chenille stitch, and that's going to sew it all down. We're going to be cutting in between this. And this is nice because I don't have to remove the basting stitch, and I don't have to, so I don't have to remove the basting stitch, and I don't have to trim around it. Okay? I'm just going to go. And this is just my extra set of hands. And this is fine. Don't worry about it. It's all going to get roughed up. Here we go. Next one. And it worked out perfectly. Like I said, I did 2. I brought it in. I brought in the applique material line. And then I roughed it up. I didn't have any issues. Just go slow. If you need to, hit the stop button. I really didn't have anything flip back. It just like came out pretty perfectly. Once you have this down, it's just going to be pretty easy and it's going to look great. If you feel like it's flipping your fabric back, stop. But every little stitch line that helped hold it down made it more secure, and then I just didn't really worry about it. So that's stitching it down, so... And this saved me so much time. This saved me time in not having to trim it. It saved me time in not having to remove the basting stitch. I just wasn't sure if it was going to work, and it worked perfectly. So I'm going to put my pieces for this in a little bag, and then I'll see if anyone wants it. You're going to only have enough for one. And the slow speed makes it so you don't have to freak out, right? You can hit your start, stop, have your little tool in case you get tempted to like put your finger down under there. It's going to be way better to have the needle break on your metal tool than on your finger bone. Isn't this one cute? So, what it's doing right now, these are the stitch the chenille spine lines. This is what we're doing right now. Use a seam ripper, remove the basting line, which I don't have to do because I didn't do that step. Carefully cut between the chenille spine lines. Be sure to cut all 3 layers of the fabric. Do not cut the base layer. And then we're going to rough it up. It says lightly spray the fabric with water to aid in the chenille process. I didn't do that. I just roughed it up with my chenille brush. Fluff the chenille with a nail file or stiff brush. Carefully remove the tape. I don't have any tape. Remove the block from the hoop. So what we're going to do next is I'm going to get my chenille cutter. Now, if you're using a chenille cutter, make sure for this, you set it to the smallest setting. So this is my chenille cutter that I love so much. And on the back, you can go ahead. Nope, I'm sorry, on the front. You can set it. So see how I'm set here to small? So you can just turn this. How do I turn it? Like this? Nope. That will give you different parts of the blade. Maybe I'm turning it the wrong direction. This. So you turn it this way. So that's going to make it so it's set for large. So turn it to the left for the setting, so I'm back to small, and then turn it right for a different part of the blade. Okay? All right. Guess what? We are done. Was that like so easy and the best chenille block you've ever done with the scan and cut? Okay. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm set to small. And the reason you want to set it to small is because of the size of this going between like that, obviously, isn't going to fit between all of these pieces. So I'm going to set it to small. Here's my smallest setting. And I'm just going to take this and put it in between here and just drag it through. Oh, shoot. Here's my small. It wasn't cutting because I was set to the medium. And you can just turn it around those grooves. So I'm going to go between all the grooves. The small one, you can just turn your cutter. Or you can just take a seam ripper and just go right down the centers. There we go. And I think I'm cut through all of them. Okay? You want a nice rough brush. This is my chenille brush. It's nice and rough. And then you're just going to take it and just rub it across. And you're going to go in all different directions, on the edges, in between. Just go ahead and turn it and rough them up. All the way through the body. Try not to get the face because you don't want to undo those threads. And it's going to fuzz up. You're going to be pulling some of the threads off of the fabric. You want them just to be nice and fuzzy. Oop. Let me move this out of the way. You want to come in at it from different directions. And that is the easiest chenille block you're going to do. Now you can come in here with a piece of tape. Grab this. And in class, we will do 2 blocks. We're going to do it the traditional way. We are not doing it like this. I'm just going to go, because not everyone has a ScanNCut. Not everyone wants to get a ScanNCut. And, but if you do have a, I think that's 10 times easier with the ScanNCut. And you can see like this spot right here didn't get roughed up at all. I'm going to rough him up right there. So just go through here, rough him up. And enjoy your little hedgehog. How cute is he? Don't you love him? I just love this block. And that is September's block, and you should be making 2 of those. Thanks so much for joining me. Bye.